Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to be covering a topic from Cambridge IGCSE Biology, the topic of organization of an organism and subtopic size of specimens. So in this video, we're going to be covering the following learning outcomes. We're going to state and use the formula of magnification, where magnification is equal to image size divided by actual size. And we're going to calculate magnification and size of biological specimens using millimeters as units. And we are also going to learn how to convert measurements between millimeters and micrometers. All right. So in this video, we're focusing on the magnification formula and how to answer questions with regard to this, to magnification. All right. So before diving into the calculations, let's first try to understand what magnification is all about. Now, you see, in biology, many of the structures that we study about and learn about are very, very small, right? For example, let's take cells that we've been learning about in the previous videos. We've learned all about cells and cell structures and the different types of cells and so on. And by now, we've all understood that cells are extremely tiny structures that we cannot see by our eyes alone. So if anyone wants to observe cells, we'd have to use a microscope for that. So there are two types of microscopes. There is the light microscope and the more advanced electron microscope that helps us to see the cells and their parts, right? So what exactly does a light and electron microscope do? What these microscopes do is we place the tiny biological structure under the microscope, and the microscope enlarges that structure and shows it to us as an enlarged image. So what we see through the microscope is an enlarged image of the tiny little structure. So light microscopes can magnify objects up to 1,000 times, while electron microscopes can magnify more than 200,000 times of the actual size. So that's basically what magnification is all about. Magnification is simply how much an actual object has been enlarged by. For example, the light microscope can enlarge an object by roughly 1,000 times of the actual size. So that is what magnification is. And we give magnification by this formula. Magnification equals image size divided by actual size. This is the equation we use for magnification. So so magnification equals image size divided by actual size. So when we are trying out different questions, we can put this into a formula triangle where we have image size at the top. I stands for image size, and actual size and magnification at the bottom. A stands for actual size and M for magnification. All right. So we're going to basically be focusing on calculations with this equation, right? But before we start on a few of these calculations, here are a few tips and tricks for you when attempting these questions, all right? So here are a few points for you. Always look at the units that have been given in the question. So sometimes you're going to see questions where they give you the image size and the actual size in different units. So if you do not consider the units, you're probably going to end up with the wrong answer. So the first thing is, when you're given a question, look at the units and check whether they are both in the same unit. And secondly, learn the equation triangle for magnification. Learn the formula triangle of magnification, where you have image size at the top and actual size and magnification at the bottom. So you learn this triangle, and if you ever get a question regarding this, you write this on the page straight away. You immediately draw up this formula triangle. All right. And thirdly, don't forget that magnification has no units. Magnification does not have a unit. It's just written as times the number. For example, times 500 or times 10, etc. All right. And also, when we are dealing with these questions, sometimes we need to convert between units. So if we are dealing with centimeters and millimeters, remember the relationship 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. And if you happen to have a question with micrometers and millimeters, remember that 1 micrometer equals 0.001 millimeter. So basically, in simpler terms, 1000 micrometers is equal to 1 millimeter. So please keep this in mind. If you ever need to convert between micrometers and millimeters, you need to divide that by 1000. And if you happen to want to convert between millimeters to micrometers, you'll have to multiply that by 1000. This is how you convert between these two units. All right. So let's keep these points in mind and let's try out our first calculation question. All right. So here's our first practice question. They've given us a diagram over here. This is actually the diagram, the cross section of a leaf, right? The thickness of a leaf. So let's read through this question. And as I'm reading through this question, I'm going to highlight the important information given in this question. Okay, so let's start. The actual thickness of the leaf diagram is 2000 micrometers. So 2000 micrometers, I'm highlighting that and I'm saying that this is the actual size. Okay, so let's continue. The actual thickness is 2000 micrometers, but the image size of the leaf in the diagram is 50 millimeters. Here's another important information given. 50 millimeters is stated as the image size. What is the magnification of the diagram? All right. So this seems like a pretty easy question, right? They've given us the actual size and they've given us the image size and they're asking us to work out the magnification. So we know the magnification formula. Magnification equals to image size divided by actual size. And we know the image size and we know the actual size, so we can work out our magnification, right? But before we do this, there's something important you need to notice. Can you see that the actual size is given in micrometers, whereas the image size is given in millimeters? So that's a small problem over there. Actual size and image size are given in two different units. So we probably need to convert them, we need to convert one of them into the other's units. So let's take 2000 micrometers and why don't we try to convert this into millimeters? So we've learned how to do this, right? If you ever want to convert micrometers into millimeters, all you need to do is divide it by 1000. So when you divide 2000 by 1000, you can understand that it is equal to 2 millimeters. So the actual size of the image is 2 millimeters. So I have 2 millimeters now as my actual size and 50 millimeters as my image size. So I'm going to put them into my magnification formula. Image size is 50. Actual size is 2. So 50 over 2 makes 25. And since this is magnification that I'm talking about, I'm going to say times 25. And notice how there is no unit after the number. You just write it as times 25 and no units thereafter. All right. So this is one question that I want to discuss with you all. I hope all of you understood this. But just to make sure, let's try out one more practice question that is given on this slide over here. All right, so here's a new question for you all to attempt. The cell shown in the diagram has been magnified 3,000 times. So I'm highlighting this information. This is the value of the magnification. And the diagram is 21 millimeters wide. So the diagram is obviously the image size. The image size is 21 millimeters wide. And they are asking what is the actual diameter of the cell, right? So look at the information. They've given magnification, they've given the image size, and they are asking us for the actual size. What do we do in a question like this? We immediately draw up the formula triangle. What do we have in the formula triangle? We have image size at the top and actual size and magnification at the bottom, right? Now, in this question, they're asking us for the actual size. So we take our finger and we cover this part on actual size. And what are we left with? We have image size over magnification. So I'm going to write that down. Actual size equals image size over magnification. All right. So now I put in the values given in the question. Image size is given as 21 millimeters. So I'm going to put that up here. And magnification is given as 3,000 times. So I'm going to put that down here. And that gives us the actual size of 21 over 3,000 millimeters. And as you can see, answer A, B, C, D, that is given by answer B. All right. So this is our second practice question. I hope all of you have learned how to try out how to answer such calculations. So let's now go to the question bank and try out one more question before we wrap up. All right, so here's another easy question for you. A photomicrograph of a mitochondrion is 15 millimeters. So I'm going to highlight that, 15 millimeters. And the mitochondrion has an actual length of 3 micrometers. So I'm going to define these. 15 millimeters is the image size, and 3 micrometers is the actual size. And by how much is the photomicrograph magnified by? They're asking us to calculate magnification. So we all know the magnification formula now. Magnification equals to image size over actual size. But there's a small problem that we need to attend to before putting these values into our equation. We can see that the image size is given in millimeters, whereas the actual size is given in micrometers, two different units. So how about we first convert millimeters to micrometers? We know how to do this. All you need to do is multiply that value by 1,000. So 15 millimeters would be equal to 15,000 micrometers, right? So the image size is actually 15,000 micrometers, right? So now let's put in these values to our equation. Magnification equals image size, and we found that image size is 15,000 micrometers. So that's what I'm putting up here. 15,000 micrometers is my image size divided by the actual size, which is 3 micrometers. So 3 micrometers is my actual size. So 15,000 divided by 3 works out to be 5,000. And since this is magnification that we are talking about, I'm going to write it as times 5,000. So this answer is given by answer 4, and that's what I'm going to choose as my answer. All right. So now that we've tried out 3 questions in total in this video, I hope all of you have got a good understanding on how to attempt such questions at your exam. So there are a lot more questions on this question bank that you can try out. So try them out and see if you're able to find the right answer. That's all for this video. Stay tuned for our next one.
Subscribe us now for more videos and content.